Waylon Reavis, vocalist for new metal band A Killer's Confession and former vocalist for Mushroomhead, chats with Darrell Craig Harris on Music Matters, episode 17 of season 2.
Hey Waylon, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm just waking up. We were just talking about that. It's early.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you're down in Florida these days, right?
Is it not obvious?
I know. Yeah, I know. I'm jealous. I'm jealous. We got the good weather, but we don't have the beach nearby.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful here. It's getting that point where, like, I guess it's a kind of a springish here, but like for most people, it would feel like summer to them.
Right. Yeah.
Now, like our average temperature is like 90 right now, so it's like
I could take that. August is a little rough, but it's all good.
It's a heat you don't even understand.
Yeah. So you got a lot going on, man. Like you guys have a couple of songs that are hitting really hard. I think Remember is the one that's really hitting hard right now, right?
Actually, Light to Darkness, the new one we just dropped, is our #1 song on Spotify as of right now.
Oh wow,
and
okay.
And if you know the catalog, Numb has just been
right
like all over our playlists and just the top of our charts for over a year.
Awesome.
Light to Darkness actually overtook it last week.
That's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. You always, you always want songs to do well.
Exactly.
But it's always nice to see us, and especially with Light to Darkness. Like Remember's done well at radio and everything, but Light to Darkness was just a track. It was just it was written for the fan. It was a callback to my Mushroomhead, that creepy. It's got a creepy sound to it, and it's just a little bit darker. It's a darker AKC, and people just absolutely, and that's a great problem to have a song like, oh, this is just, it's a gift. Yeah. It's for the fans. It's going to be played live. Really not expecting it to do anything. And it got picked up by it's on Rock Hard playlist, which is one of the biggest playlists you get put on being a rock band.
Yeah, you're on Billboard, you're on Most Added Radio, right? You got like a lot of stuff happen at the same time. It's crazy.
It's crazy, and it's just like only thing that's missing right now is being on the road, because usually being the veteran that I am and been touring, is like usually when you're in this position, you're on the road and you're pounding the pavement.
Right. And these days, right now, well, it's starting to open up a little bit, right? I'm starting to work here and there, but it's still a challenge.
Well, start May, I start doing that, and
awesome.
And by that point, I'll have another song that will have dropped.
Right.
So because we're doing what they call a waterfall release. It's like it is an album, but you don't get it all at once.
Right. Because now these days it's really releasing singles, right? That's a whole different market than 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Well, there's a difference between a single and a track. It's like the single is the one you actually dump money into. You go promotion. Excuse me.
Sure.
You go promote, you put it on radio, and then the track is what you just kind of put out there for the fans, and you put it out there on your DPSs and Spotify and Apple and everything.
Just to get the word out, get the vibe out. Yeah.
And it's like, so like we'll have certain songs that get traction like that they get the they'll get the love, and they'll get the money behind. Then you get songs that are just getting put out like, hey, you got a new song out, go check it out. And Light the Darkness was one of those songs, and absolutely just. Well, that was unexpected,
it's like these days too with social media, like people expect you to be constantly releasing content, right? You can't just release one song and then wait 6 weeks, because there's all these other bands releasing, and then you want to stay on top of the vibe and the groove, right?
It's every 30 days, and this April 30th, we have a new song coming. It's called Trapped Inside.
Awesome.
There's a video for it, and it's all about the content. And now, granted, they would love you to compete with like a podcast. And
right.
So you can't compete with a podcast.
It's a different. Yeah, they're different animals, right?
But you're expected as a musician to compete with that. And I was doing an interview yesterday, and I was like, there is no way that I can write a song every day and put it out.
Exactly.
There's no way. I can't do 365 songs a year. It's just not happening. It's like 30 days.
Well, even doing what we do, to do it right, you got to prep. It takes. You don't want to just release content for the sake of doing it. You want it to be right. You want it to be quality stuff that you believe in. Because lots of bands, they just throw songs out there and it doesn't really mean anything. It's like, well, what's the point of doing that?
Well, that's the thing. It's like we're a year ahead. We have 11 more releases, including the Trapped Inside, which is coming out. There's
Right.
11 more, and
Awesome.
and we're already writing again. And I told the guys by July I would like 6 skeletons,
Right.
and then by December I'd like 12 skeletons, and then we do the final, and then take January and February, do final mix and master, any kind of thing.
Mhm.
So come March, when it's time to release that next song, we're already 12 songs ahead again.
Yeah,
And
well, you got to be right. You got to be prepared to. You got to have the stuff in the pipeline coming down the coming down the way.
Well, with the pandemic and everything, that kind of helped in that situation.
Right.
And I know that sounds weird for me to say, but it put a band like me in a position. I had just released an album right when everything happened,
Gotcha.
and kind of just jerked the rug out from under me. So what do? You do another album. Well, I sit there and thought about it. I released Last Chance, just to kind of make everybody happy. Say we can't do this, but hey, here's a new song.
Yeah,
And
give,
I was
give,
like,
give them something to listen to and to get into, and yeah.
And it was the only song I released, because I've released I've had constant releases every year since 16. It's like I've had releases happen.
So you originally, when you formed My Killer's Confession, that was in 2016, right?
Yes.
But before that, you were in a very well-known band, Mushroom Head. You guys had lots and lots of record sales, lots of touring. And tell me how the well, actually, first of all, where are you actually from originally?
I'm from a place called Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
Yeah, I detected a little accent.
Oh yeah.
We were just talking about that. Yeah.
Well, that's so funny. It's like I have done interviews, and it's like when you play the character on a stage, it's like nobody wants to hear Texas Chainsaw, in a mask. That's scary enough,
Like, hey, y'all.
and being that the guys were from Cleveland, they really didn't want me speaking like me, it's like I'm Southern. I'm me. I'm Southern as it comes. I'm not ashamed of it, hide from it.
Yeah,
and I would go up on stage, and I would go back to being Waylon. It's like, because I mean, Waylon MRH was a different person than Waylon Reavis.
Yeah, because you're playing a little bit of a role, especially when it's not your band, right? You're stepping into something that was already rolling before you got there, and
it was totally a role. It was a role the whole time. And I'd get off the stage, I'd do the interview, and people would just like, you're joshing me. You're kidding with that accent. This is a joke. I'm like, no, man, this ain't a joke. In the matter that you don't even know how creepy that is.
Right.
So you sound like a monster on stage, and then you come off and you're like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And they thought I'd be joshing them. I'm like, no, man, this is how I actually speak. And it was so funny because the other day I did a little a story on YouTube, and somebody's like, oh my God, your accent's thick. And I'm like, well, I thought that was common knowledge by now that I have a thick Southern accent.
But it's cool, man. It's like it's part of who you are. And then when you're singing, I always say, like, it's like when you're singing and stuff. I have a lot of friends in Europe and a lot of friends in Finland that are in Finnish rock bands.
Mm-hmm.
And that the English is not their first language, but they've actually made their accent work for them. Like you hear a little bit of it, like the Beatles. Like you knew that they had an accent, but it was cool because it was something different to our ears, right? So that's you can make it to an advantage, I think.
Well, Sahaj Dickinson wants me to embrace my Southern dialect and accent. He wants me to put it in my songs. He's like, Waylon, he goes, you are just you, and you speak.
Yeah.
He goes, there's nothing you can, he goes, I'm not dishing you when I say that. He goes, you are the embodiment of Southern. And he goes, you're a gentleman. He goes, he goes, you're actually educated. He goes, so you're taking that stipulation. And
my family is all from Arkansas, so I know the whole deal. I
totally get it. I'll go to places, and as soon as they hear my accent, like my IQ went down by 40 points. They assume that I'm just as dumb as rock.
Yeah.
And I'm
but you know what? You can use that to your advantage. So that's cool. You think that I'm just gonna go right around you. It's all good.
I remember one time I got pulled over, and we were driving Mushroom Head, and I was driving, and we were leaving a big festival, and they had a block, and the guys were just absolutely trashed. I mean, and we didn't have anything on us or anything like that. We wouldn't do anything bad. But the guys were drunk, and I'm sober. Because I was never a big drinker.
Right.
And I was sober, and I was driving, and I'm just like, and the guys are like, oh shit,
woohoo!
And they're like, oh my God. And I'm like,
you're like, chill.
I'm like, shut up, I got this.
That's funny.
And I turn around, and the officer pulls down. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Well, what are you boys doing? Well, we played a gig over here, man. We're trying to get back home. Can you tell me how we can get to I-95? We're kind of a little bit lost right now. And they're like, oh, these are some good old boys.
Some good old boys.
And they were, the guys were like,
funny.
How did you do that? I'm like, I just spoke to him, and I played the dumb card.
Right.
And But then we were going through Canada, and this has never happened to me since. And this happened right when I joined Mushroom. It was the first time I'd ever gone and left the country and played out the country.
Right. Which is a big deal. It's a big thing.
It was a big deal to me. And we were going through like at 4:30 in the morning. All of us are in bed. And there you have to go through and declare your citizenship and where you're from. And they're going.
That Canadian immigration is no joke.
It's not. It's not. No, it's like trust me. I want to go to Canada. I love Canada, but going through, you got to go through the steps. Well, they're going through our bus, and I am what the Cliff Burton bunk. I'm at the top right in the back.
God rest his soul. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm that bunk. That was always my bunk.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that just so people know where I'm at. Like they know where that bunk is. I'm there. They had already gone through the first six because there was 3 and then 3, and that's how that worked. And they had already been through those, and they'd already been through 6 people.
Where's that Waylon guy?
And they had to go through 6 more. Okay, and they come up, and I've heard everybody's like such and such Cleveland, Ohio. And they get to me, and you have to say where you're born. And it's like, Waylon Reavis, Wilkesboro, North Carolina. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm here to sing some shows in Canada. We're good. They close my bunk and leave the bus, and there's 5 other people.
The other guys are going, what the hell? How'd that happen?
They're like, what did you say to them? I'm like, I just told them where I was from and what I do.
I was being a homeboy. So tell me the Mushroom Head story. So like, you started singing pretty young, I assume, right?
Go
ahead, tell me that story.
I started at 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And the band was the original version of 3/4 Dead, which is where Mushroom had found me.
Right.
And I started at 15, getting booed, had no clue about music, didn't have.
Hey, you got to do that, right?
Oh yeah, just getting booed, and I remember the first club I played. I remember I had to sit outside until showtime. I go on stage. This old cougar tried to pour alcohol down my throat. The club got mad, threw me out. And then the band in front of me is like, man, he's just having. It ain't his fault. She put her boobies on him and tried to get him drunk. It's like
just taking advantage of the boy.
Yeah, he tried to take advantage of me, and they were like, still. It's like that wasn't his fault. And the older band took care of me. It's like, hey, he wasn't trying. He wasn't at the bar asking for anything. This lady come up and started grinding on him, and I'm 15 years old. It's like I had no.
Yeah, this is all like a new world for you, right?
It was, and that club's like, you need to keep your day job. Leave this to professional. And that I remember the older. I can't remember the band's name, but I remember him telling me, I'd like to see you do what that kid just did.
Yeah.
Hey, this kid's gonna do something.
Yeah, but you know what? Like all those stories, like we all have that story. You have to, you sort of have to suck before you learn how to do things.
And the thing about it is, it wasn't just. I didn't just suck for that year. I sucked for the next 9. And I never gave up. And
that's the thing.
And my bass player for Killer's Confession was in that group, and he'll tell you, just like one day, I came in. He goes, one day Waylon was just terrible as always, and then one day I come in, lyrics changed, vocals changed.
Right.
It clicked for me. It finally just made sense. And then 3/4 Dead started growing, and we bought on a tour with Mushroom Head and Avenged Sevenfold. Avenged Sevenfold was opening for Mushroom Head, and I was opening for Avenged, and I got to know M Shadows and the Rev and everybody. I got to know everybody, and they were just great guys. And it was my first tour, and it's like got noticed by Shroom. Shroom we ended up playing a couple more shows with them in Carolina when they came through with Dope and Soil. I remember, and that was the first time I'd hung out with Skinny.
Oh, wow.
And Skinny, it's like, hey, won't you come up? I got a studio, and I'll do your next album. I'll produce your next album. I'm like, awesome. Yeah, sure. I get up there. Skinny ends up producing and recording a Killer's Confession, 3/4 Dead. Jay comes in, and he goes, man, if I ever get sick, I'm calling you. He goes, when you scream, you sound like I do.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
man, because you got a powerful voice, but it's you have control of it. That's the thing. Okay, there's people that do that, but they can't control it, and you got perfect control, which is awesome.
And I remember thinking, it's like, that's never gonna happen. 2 months later, I got called and say, hey, you wanted the band? There was no tryout, nothing.
Yeah.
I joined, and the movie Rockstar really mimics of where I was in my career and how I went from being the garage band to the headliner overnight.
Yeah, and
I jumped like 10 years of hard work, which I didn't. Now I respect it. Like
Right.
now I get what I had skipped, because with the Killer's Confession, I had to go back and do, it's like I had to go back and pay that dues with another band. And I
Right. Because
did
then
that
all of a
now,
sudden it's like you're not playing the big places, you're playing the small clubs, you're in the van,
and
you're doing the whole I get it.
and I had like, so I ended up paying those dues. But I mean, it was just a whirlwind of just craziness. It's like I wish that I had the mindset now that
Mm.
back then, because I'd have been things would have turned out way different, because I'm a different animal now. But that's
Right.
part of the experience and maturity that come along. It's like you can't just tempt me with drugs and be like, "Hey man, you want to have a good time?" No, I don't, man. I'll see you later. It's like
Yeah.
back then I was just like a little country boy, just like, woo,
Oh yeah, you're a kid in
king
the
of the
caddy store,
world.
right? And I mean, you got a band that's already rolling, so you're stepping into that. They're like going 100 miles an hour. You're like, hey, hold on, let me grab onto this.
Well, let me get on. I'm good. And I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm willing to admit those mistakes now. It's like, but I'm only human.
Yeah.
A lot of people like try to judge the situation. I was just trying to be Motley Crue. I mean,
Right.
I ain't gonna lie. I was. I mean, but that's what I knew. That's what I
Right.
thought it was.
Yeah, because you idolize those guys. You think, well, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's
You're supposed to
exactly
go
what
drinking every night, but like trying to do that and being on the road and keep your voice is not so easy, right?
it's not. Well, I never had the problem with that, but it really did get the point where, and people, they've tried to shame me for it and stuff. And I look at them, I was like, you got to understand, there was a different time back then.
Right. Yeah.
And I said, I'll take any of you guys. I'll put you in that same position with the same cluelessness
Right.
about what's really going on.
Yeah.
And we'll see how straight your moral
And you got
compass
girls
is.
coming at you, people throwing stuff at you for free. And yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
dude,
know.
it's
It's
hard.
really hard. It takes a special person to say, no, I'm good.
It does, and it usually shuts them up. And I'm like, you don't know the pressure, and it's like
Yeah.
when everything, it's like when you come from nothing, and everything is being thrown at you, and
Right.
you're not really mature enough to understand,
Or
like,
even appreciate
or
what's
even
happening.
appreciate what's
Right.
happening. Your moral compass is going to be spinning circles,
Yeah.
and you're going to be stupid. And it take but you learn. It's like you pay for your education one way or another,
Yeah.
but you learn. And like I said, it's like I wish I could put my brain now back then, because it'd been a whole different ball game. It would
Yeah,
have
but
been.
now you know what's cool, man, is that because we talked before this, we were talking about some other band stuff, and like what's cool about you is you've been there, you know the deal, and you've done that thing, and then now you're on fire, but you've done that whole thing, and you learned your lessons, and that's cool. So then, Killer's Confession, how did that come about? Like, so you mentioned you already knew the bass player, right? How did you put that band together?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I took after Mushroomhead, our infamous split,
Yeah.
which I wish them nothing but the best now. Like I do not feel the way I did. I
Right.
do not.
Yeah,
I
time heals a lot of stuff.
It does, man. But I also take responsibility for my own actions and being
That's good.
stupid.
Yeah.
And it's like there was mistakes made on all sides, but I do not wish anything bad on those guys anymore. I really do hope the best for them. I do.
Yeah.
I want Steve and everybody to find success. I want everybody to be successful.
Yeah, that's you know what, man. That's the way I am too. I want everybody to work and everybody be happy and life. We all help
We
each
should
other.
take care of you and your own, man. I don't wish damnation on nobody.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
it's like I took a year off, and then I started taking some submissions, and I was singing again. I finally got the itch to sing again, because I didn't have it when I left.
Yeah, you're kind of burned out, right? All that shit's going on.
I was so burnt. I was strung out. I was just not there. And I found Matthew Trumpy, and Matthew Trumpy sent me the original song, "A Killer's Confession."
Oh, okay.
And it all just blossomed from there. We pulled in Paul and John Dale, and then we ended up like trying out a couple bass players, and then my buddy JP from Of Course Dead. I was like, I want the job, and I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
And JP's been there ever since.
Yeah, man,
like,
it's a great. I'll tell you what, like it's a great band. I was checking out the your YouTube last night. With your YouTube is like crazy, and Spotify, you got some serious numbers.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like I dig the video thing is well done. It's the imaging and the whole thing is really cool. Is that something it's always been important to you with the image,
the
look of it? And
Mushroom is. I want to put. I like. Granted, I don't want to do the mask. I don't want to do gimmick.
That's a pain in the ass too.
I want to entertain you. I want to entertain you. It's all about that entertainment value. It's like you've got to separate yourself somehow from everybody else wearing blue jeans and t-shirts.
Right.
You know, it's like you got to have that. Either you're gifted like Prince and you're just a prodigy to music, or you are entertaining. It's one or the other.
Yeah,
Like
because it's got to be it's got to be all that stuff together, right? I mean, I guess it takes years to learn that too. It's like, yeah, I'm really great, but yeah, it's not just about the playing. It's not just about the singing. It's the whole thing, right?
Like I pretty much, and being that I have toured in such big situations and seen stuff, I decided that I wanted to implement the videos from you see on the big shows,
right?
and
The Videotron and all that. Yeah,
I wanted to implement that for a club, so I went out and bought like 3 55-inch television, 4K televisions, and then I ended up, when I got sober, when I finally like got that point where I went sober, and I've been there for 4 years since.
That's awesome.
I made myself figure out how to make that work with a click track and a program.
Right.
It took me 6 months. And that was my 6 months of cleaning my system out. Like I didn't leave my bedroom. My wife just like constantly like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, and I would work. "Are you going to bed?" No. I'm like, but that I turned
you're kind of cleansing your soul, right?
I was cleansing my soul, but I took my drug addiction and turned it into a work ethic.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
that addiction of, you know, wanting to be high and party and turn it into like, I want to create and I want to focus on something. And that's how I found sobriety, and those screens saved me. As weird as that sounds.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Yeah, because you need when you're a creative, you need a place to channel your energy. Otherwise, if you don't find a positive place, it's oftentimes it's gonna be a negative place. So
now, like every morning, my wife will wake me up, and we have a great work ethic. We work to wake up. I mean, you know,
Julie's badass. She's no joke.
Julie's up.
I wouldn't want to get her mad at me.
No, Julie turn around. She'll get up at 6:30 and she'll start working about 6:45.
Right.
And then I roll out of bed about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Like she's already got 2 hours on. I get up and she knows, no, don't speak to me. Don't anything. Let me have some coffee.
All right. Yeah. Let me get going.
Are you ready?
Exactly. So you got, I mean, besides the band, which is kicking ass, you also are working with a music group, a record label.
Yes.
Tell me that story. Like, how did that come about? And our mutual friend Pepper, I think she's the label owner. She's a badass on her own. we'll talk about that too later. But tell me how that happened for you.
Pepper approached us right after Angel on the Outside come out, and we had a manager at the time. He totally blew her off. He didn't say nothing. Didn't want anything to do with it, and I never seen how to tell of it. Well, we did a Indiegogo, like trying to get our next album funded, because we didn't have a label. We had already left EMP, and we were trying to do it independently. Right. And we got through, and we ended up doing a couple of the songs, and we ended up having most of the album done. Oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, Pepper pops back up on Facebook in a message, and Julie finds it. Julie was like, "Hey, there's a label trying to
get a hold of you." Yeah.
I was like, well, just check it out and let's see. You know,
that's a good problem to have, right?
And I was like, check it out and see what's going on. And end up just like talking to Pepper, and like she offered us a deal, and it sounded good. And we ended up inking the deal, and then The Indifference of Good Men happened. Right. Which was our last album. This is right before COVID all smacked.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Pepper really realized at that point that Julie and I had it together. We knew what was going on. We had a lot of connections. We knew people.
Yeah, and you've been doing it for a long time, so you know the deal, right? And what to look out for. Yeah.
And Pepper's like, well, I want to do a rock division, and I want you two to head it up. And that's how Wake Up Music Rocks began. And Julie and I are the head A&Rs for that. She runs all the numbers. Julie is like a lifesaver. She really does. I know the people, and I know how to help with the music, but she is like total. Have your number down to the decibel, like to the parts.
And you need that, right? Because otherwise, if you go on the road and you don't have that stuff together, you lose your ass. It's like, it is a business. You got to pay the hotel bill and for the gas and the, you know.
So now you have Wake Up Music and Wake Up Music Rocks. We're all under Wake Up Music, but like you got the house EDM side, and then
which is Pepper's. That's sort of Pepper's love is the house music.
Oh, she loves house music. She's all about. She has some new releases. I just actually uploaded for her 2 nights ago. She's got some new stuff coming from her, and you guys
actually how I met Pepper actually was I did an interview with Ralphie Rosario, which is he's a house music legend that she does a lot of work with. And
Ralphie's on this track. He helped write this, him and
awesome, Great.
Anthony Kitchen, Tat Boy, and her, and it's Oh My Heart, and it's getting ready to come out on the 30th of this month. Same day my new release is dropping, but like it's like to me, I'm not even worried about it. It's like that's house.
It's a different ballgame. Yeah.
I'm metal. We're gonna, this is not gonna be a conflict of interest at all.
Right.
And
so,
she's got some stuff coming down the pipeline on that.
Yeah, awesome. So you got, and you're gonna. So we're talking about the touring and all that stuff. So when do you guys are gonna? So you're gonna leave in May, right, for a tour?
Yes, May 7th, first show in Tampa.
Awesome. Yeah. And is it U.S. or is it regional, or how are you doing it?
We're going from Tampa to South Carolina, North Carolina, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin.
Wow.
Back down to Illinois, into Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Wow. Yeah, that's for real.
Yeah, we're going. It's a weird thing. It's like we're making a big L up and and back down.
Yeah,
and that's how that's going. Well, actually, it's more of a weird looking triangle.
But those are all great. Yeah, those are all great music states. It's funny, like up in Illinois, Indiana, like all those places, summertime, man. I don't know what it's gonna be like this year, but I'm sure like it's great that you guys have clubs open and you're able to book, and because a lot of bands right now, they're trying to figure out how they're going to do that, right, for the summer. They don't want to sit home, and you got releases and
we got big things planned. There's big announcements coming for Killer's Confession, and we're one of the first bands, and there's a lot of bands hopping on this right now. You're going to see a lot of tours popping up, but like I said last night, and I'm gonna say it again, it's like we are not. If you do not feel safe, do not come. Like we want everybody to feel comfortable. You don't come being a crazy ass either. It's like respect other people's boundaries.
Because you want your audience to be safe and take care of each other.
I want them to be safe, and I said, don't be an ass and make me look like an asshole. Like, don't do that. It's like wear your mask. Because trust me, I've got 2,000 latex gloves ready to shake hands. But every time I shake a hand, that glove comes off and another one goes on. Yeah. I'm not trying to contaminate anybody with anything. Because I don't know. My wife's already had COVID.
Right.
I was around it. I didn't catch it, but I most likely did. But I was just one of those lucky few that it doesn't bother. It didn't affect me. So like, but I'm not gonna.
Oh, I'm losing.
Mask, I got medical mask, and that mask will be on. But I'm not doing it because I'm afraid. I'm doing it so you fix.
Yeah. I mean, it's important, and I mean that's the thing. If you're going to tour, you got to do it where it's safe. Plus, you got kids and everything else. You want to make sure everybody's good.
Like I said, it's all about keeping them safe. It's about keeping. It's like I may feel a certain way about this situation, but it don't matter what I think. It never matters what I think. It's about making you feel okay. And if you don't feel okay, stay in your comfort zone. Don't put yourself in a position because I'm there. But put yourself in a position when you're ready to be put in a position.
Yeah, exactly. I totally
use your brain. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. If you do feel comfortable and you're smart about it, come do it. But don't come acting a fool and not being careful. That's all I got to say about it. And I think that's the smartest way I can be about it. It's like I can't control people, but I can say, hey, slow your roll, have a good time. If you feel comfortable watching from the back, watch from the back. If you feel if you want to come say hey, you can come say hey. I'll shake your hand, but like it's going to be a latex glove. I mean, and it's not because I'm a germaphobe. It's because I don't want the person that was before me to be carrying it, and then I shake your hand, and it doesn't happen. Right. And I pass that on to you. So that's what the latex.
Yeah, and I think everybody has to be cognizant of that. That's important stuff.
Well, at least I'm thinking ahead because I mean I don't want to take away the fact of the being able to get an autograph and take a picture and to shake hands.
Yeah, because you want to interact. That's why you're there, right?
And then how do you interact? You cover yourself. You put that extra bit of protection. To try not to have no skin on skin contact. Like shake off next.
Safe audience.
That's cool, man. But I'm thinking like that because I personally think that is the greatest part of a live performance is being able to meet the artist. And I, as an artist, love to thank the people that put me in the position I'm in.
Right.
So it's like I'm in the catch-22. I want to do that, but how do I be safe about doing that? And that is the best way I've thought of how to protect you, but still being able to thank you at the same time. Because people they get an autograph from me, but that's my way of saying thank you to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you got loyal fans, so that's super important. What's your advice for younger musicians, younger people that want to do what you do, especially singers? Because your voice is really strong. I really dig what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know it took many years to do that, and you got to protect it. So what's your thoughts like for younger musicians, younger singers?
Know your role and shut your mouth.
Yeah. That's true. I get it. Believe me, I've been in
Know
the
your
bands. I
role,
know what you're saying.
shut your mouth. You're nothing special. You're lucky if you do get that attention.
Right.
But remember, you're just a vocalist. You're just an entertainer. You aren't making major world changes. You're not anything. Check your ego at the door. Don't do it to get rich. Do it because you enjoy it, and do it because you enjoy entertaining people. Just really mainly check your ego. Your ego will get you in more trouble. It will end your career. It will screw you. And keep yourself humble.
That's a little devil on your shoulder, right?
It is. Keep yourself humble. Humble. We as a people would rather have somebody who's grateful for what they've got than to be a pompous ass.
Yeah. Because you think is too, you get to, you get to a certain level. Like there's lots of great players, lots of good singers, but it's who keeps their head together, right? You got to go on the road for 6 months. You got to keep your shit together.
You do, and I can say from experience, my ego checked me.
Right.
Don't make the mistakes I made.
Yeah.
Don't let it check you. Check yourself at the door. Know your role. Shut your mouth. Be grateful that you're even here, because it doesn't happen to everybody.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. I think being humble is really important. And it's funny because like a lot of people I've interviewed, some people that are really, really well known, that's something that seems to be like a thing. Like they've all learned that lesson. They've all gone through the having the big hits and having the big head. And then you get back on the other side of it. You're like, yeah, why'd they even do that?
Well, that's the thing. Remember, for every person you step on your way up, it's every ass you got to kiss on your way back.
That's exactly right. And you may have to come to them for a favor someday. Like, hey, can we open for you? They're going to be thinking about what happened in 1985.
Every person you step on is every ass you got to kiss on the way back down.
That's probably the best advice to ever keep that. Remember that one. Cool. How can people find you? Like you guys are, I know, Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. What's the easiest way for people to connect with you?
It's like you said, Spotify and YouTube. If you want to find me personally, I am live on Twitch 3 times a week. Waylon AKC. I stream video games. We talk. I give glimpses of new music that's coming.
Awesome.
You can find me on Twitch. You can come game with me, and I'm just like, all rules are all out the door when I'm doing that. I'm just having a good time.
Watch out when you're gaming.
It's like I have a lot of fun, playing with people, and they most times just kick my ass everywhere because I hate fun,
you get to meet people.
And that's what they want to play, and I'm stuck playing a game I hate, but I still play it, and they just beat the snot out of me. But like, come next month, I got the new Resident Evil coming out, and another game called Back 4 Blood, which is zombie kill, and these are games I actually enjoy. So like, come on to get the games I want to play, because right now I got the PS5 and I'm stuck playing Call of Duty and I absolutely hate it.
Yeah. Like the gaming thing is, I totally get what that is. And it's like, it's nice to be able to kind of like go and do that thing and not have to worry about life and just kind of check out for a minute. Like, we all need that, right?
Yes, everybody needs that. And that's the thing. It's like, we're at that point, it's like, I'm trying to transition over into other medias, and being a Twitch host is fun and everything, but it's like, it's me being like, okay, I can't get on stage and I can't entertain. So
you need the outlet.
I've done all the hot challenges. I mean, I've done the one chip, which was nothing. I've done the Tube of Terror, the Death Nut Challenge. My wife hit me with the hottest chocolate in the world by accident. And she was only supposed to they gave us a little bar. They gave her she ordered this bar of chocolate, the hottest bar of chocolate in the world. And it comes in it breaks into 6 little pieces.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to eat one every minute. She gave me the whole damn thing at once.
Tried to kill you.
My God, she tried to kill me. It burnt me up. I mean,
what happened to Waylon? He done caught in flames and burned up.
Yeah. And then I had a fan send me the hottest peanut brittle, and I did it. And then he sent me these nasty flavored pops, like these sodas. Like one of them was ranch flavored, one was buffalo wing flavored. One of them, one of them was what was the word?
That just ain't natural. Tell you what.
Give me one that tastes like sweet corn. It was just like, oh my God. And I downed him. I was like, what you got, man? It's like nothing, man.
Bring it on.
Oh yeah. But I was doing that for him, and it was just a fun experience. And I did the bamboozled and the ever flavor beans.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey man, you know what? It's cool because like you got to keep, you can't just sit home and do nothing, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's part of the reason why I started the podcast and thinking like I'm just used to being on the road, saying like you, like I can't just sit here and do nothing for a year.
Well, now I'm getting ready to transition back to being on the road, and it looks like I'm going to live on the road for the next couple of years. I'm just going to be out there.
Well, you know what? That's as long. I mean, and also too, Julie gets it. Like she knows the business, and I think that's really awesome that you guys are a team because you need that, right? It's hard to do it on your own.
You will never see me and not see my wife. That's how this works.
Yeah.
You will never see it. And it's like transit, and everybody's like, "Well, how are you going to do Twitch when you're on the road?" And I'm like, "We'll figure that out." It's like probably do both. It's like I won't be gaming, but I'll be doing this thing called Just Chatting, which is pretty much a podcast.
All right. Yeah.
Where I'm interviewing other bands, and it's future's unknown, man. It's like I'm just looking forward to getting back to normal.
You know what? It's good to wake up and have a reason to wake up, and that's a win. It keeps you positive, it keeps you sober. All that stuff is great, and I think it's awesome. Like your story, I know you try to help a lot of people, help a lot of young people, young musicians and stuff too, and that's super cool through the label too. I know you guys got a bunch going on with that. You got the other band Raw, right? Is also on the label. They got lost. They're kicking off again too. So but
they're killing it. And we were talking to another couple artists right now. Like you're going to see a lot of great things come from Wake Up in the next year. Like we have a lot of stuff in store for everybody.
Well, the word's out because I just interviewed a couple of other people. That was one of the things we talked about was Raw and Wake Up Music and you guys. So the word's definitely out there, which is awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. I know we could talk a lot, and once you get on tour and get, because I know you got a lot more hits coming. I can already feel that because I dig what you guys do, and the videos are great, the songs are good, and I can't wait to hear the next releases. And I'm excited about that.
Trapped Inside, man, the 30th, man. It's like actually, if you want to hear it early, you go to YouTube on the 29th. At 9 p.m. We're going to get it. You're going to get it like 3 hours early. We're going to have a whole premiere for it, only exclusively on YouTube. So go to
the scoop.
There you go. Go to Killer's Confession on YouTube and go hit that reminder button. And there is a premiere set. It's like 2 weeks away, guys, and you will not be disappointed.
Awesome. Yeah, and we're going to put all your information on the podcast description, all the links, social media links, and that, so people can find you. And and this video will be available on Music Crowns out of London and Bass and Guitar Live out of Italy. We have about 7 million followers on those pages, and lots of music lovers and all that. So awesome, man! Thank you so much for joining me. I really
thank you, man. Thank you for having me. I was like, but I love interviews like this. I mean, this was just laid back. I didn't feel pressured. It's like I just have a conversation in my coffee.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
I didn't do my paparazzi interview. That's for later.
Screw that. The only time I ever had to worry about paparazzi was when I was in Australia. It freaked me out because I'd never dealt with it before. Like I got off the plane and it's like, "Hey, Waylon," and it's like he said, and I'm like, "Who the hell knows me here?" And then I turned my head and I was like, I mean, just like nailed me. And I was like 5 people behind Billy Joel from Billy from Green Day.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I remember scaring him on that tour, and I didn't mean to. It was like
he's a little guy. You could take him.
No, it was like I was not feeling good. We were going back home, and Billy is sitting in first class, and I'm getting on the plane, and I've got this. Just
don't fuck with me.
20-hour death stare, and it's like, and at that point I was working out pretty profusely. And I was like 218 pounds. I was like I was cut, and just like, and I kind of look at Billy, and Billy gets this look like this dude is gonna do something to me. And I can see it in his eyes.
He's in the cut.
In my brain, I'm like, oh God, no. What do you do, Waylon? Don't scare him. Don't do that. And I was like, and I was like, oh. Hey, how you doing? And I just totally did the most southern voice I could.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, you totally did too. But I was totally scared. I was freaking.
Pull out the Andy Griffith on him.
I totally did. And he kind of like chuckled, just like, I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he was like, "What's up?" I was like, he was looking at me like, "Why is this dude staring right at me?"
Yeah. You know what, man? You never know. Like some people, like I know some singers and some very famous singers, they're just shy. Like they just don't talk a lot. Doesn't mean they're pissed off or anything. They just kind of stand in the corner.
Yeah.
People are like, "What's up with him?"
But
you
I mean,
never,
I
you
was
never
just
know.
tired. You know, it was a long tour because when you do Soundwave, it's just constant,
Right.
constant. And on the way back, I'm done, man. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. You're like, I just want to sleep.
I do, and I was felt so bad, and I walked by, and I just felt so. I like one time, like my death stare, which usually don't bother me because I will walk through cities with the death stare, so everybody leave me alone.
It's your resting bitch face, right?
It's my total resting bitch face, and I gave it to Billy, and I felt so bad
That's
about
funny.
that. I was like, totally like, no, don't do that to him. It's
Yeah,
Billy.
they're gonna say, yeah, remember that guy Wayne? He wants to be your opening act. He's gonna be like, no.
No, but he was totally cool with it. I was like, hey, man,
Cool.
what you doing?
Yeah.
And I was like, totally turned it around. It's like, oh my God, he probably thinks I'm trying to kill him or something. You know, I was like,
He knows. He's been there. He's probably been like on the road for 2 years. Like, I just want to go home.
yeah, I remember the grin that came on his face. He probably don't even remember it, but I remember the grin coming on his face because he had that look of worry for a moment. Like, and it was undeniable. It was like,
he's not going to beat me up in first class. What's up with that?
And you know, and I'm a good person. I will be good to everybody. I'll give you a chance, and I would never go out of my way to do anything to anybody.
Right.
And I was able to register how I was looking on the outside, and I was like, this ain't working well. You can't do this to people.
That's the thing with me. Like I'm basically like a teddy bear, but I'm a big guy. And like I worked with Miley doing production for her. I was their guitar tech. And the stage manager, used to grab me like, help me get her off stage. I'm like, I'm not a bodyguard.
I'm not this. No.
I'll do it if I got to do it. But
I'll pick her up. Come on, Miley.
Exactly. Well, she's about half of me, but yeah.
She's really tall though, isn't she?
Like I guess she's average, but yeah, she's a sweet. I love Miley. She's a sweet.
She's like 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah, probably about that. Yeah.
Like
she's not too big.
Julie's like 5'2", so that's tall to me.
Yeah,
for like Miley's like, but
she's got a lot of money to stand on.
Yes,
that's so true.
Miley, can I get a grant?
Exactly. Yeah. Hey man, thank you so much for joining me, and I really appreciate your time. Everybody, please go check out A Killer's Confession. Find you guys on Spotify, on YouTube. Videos are awesome. You're kicking ass. You're like 500,000 views on the one tune. Remember?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's killer, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, and have yourself a wonderful day. And get up, go do something, man. It's beautiful. I don't know what it said to you, but it's beautiful here.
It's nice. It's nice here. It's pre burning sands of hell hot, which will be in a couple of months. So.
Oh, yes, I'm gonna jump in the pool.
Hey, there you go. All right, man. Thank you so much, Waylon.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome.